Welcome, beautiful damsels. Obsession isn't loud, it's a quiet storm that consumes without warning, pulling you deeper before you even realize you're caught. When a man is obsessed with a Sigma female, his world shifts in ways that defy logic. He's drawn to her mysterious aura, captivated by her independence, and unknowingly pulled into a magnetic force he can't escape. But obsession, unlike simple attraction, is subtle. It's the stolen glances when he thinks she's not looking, the silent adjustments he makes to be closer to her orbit. He doesn't just want her attention, he craves her presence in ways that are invisible to everyone but him. In this world of unspoken longing, the signs are secretive yet unmistakable. They don't flash like red lights, they simmer quietly beneath the surface, weaving their way into his actions. These are the signs of obsession, the moments when he loses himself in the gravitational pull of the Sigma female, where every choice he makes is a reflection of her. This isn't just infatuation, it's something deeper, something more dangerous, and if you know what to look for, the truth behind his obsession is more compelling than you could ever imagine. Stay with me as we uncover the 10 secret signs a man is obsessed with a Sigma female. Signals so subtle, they often go unnoticed until it's too late. Number 1. He studies your silence like a scientist. A man obsessed with a Sigma female doesn't just listen to her words, he's captivated by her silence. Where others might feel uncomfortable or lost in the quiet, he's completely tuned in. He watches her in those moments when she's not saying anything, studying every shift in her expression, every small pause. To him, her silence is full of meaning, as if she's communicating in a way that goes beyond words. It's not just about what she says, it's what she chooses not to say that keeps him hooked. He notices when her eyes drift off, as if her mind has wandered somewhere only she can reach. And instead of asking where she's gone in those moments, he lets her be, trying to understand the deeper layers of her thoughts. The obsession is subtle. He's not trying to break into her world, but rather waiting on the edges, hoping to catch a glimpse of the secrets she keeps guarded. Every time she falls silent, it's like a new mystery for him to unravel, and he can't help but be drawn in. What makes it even more intense is that she doesn't have to perform for his attention. She doesn't have to fill the air with conversation or entertain him with stories. Her mere presence, especially in those moments of quiet, is enough to leave him in awe. It's as if the absence of words says more than any conversation ever could, and he finds himself deeply fascinated, wanting to know more but being respectful enough not to push too hard. This obsession with her silence isn't about filling the gaps. It's about understanding that those gaps are where her real thoughts live. And that, to him, is more alluring than anything she could ever say out loud. Number 2. He changes the rhythm of his life without you ever asking. When a man is obsessed with a Sigma female, his entire life begins to bend around hers without her ever asking him to change a thing. He starts adjusting his routine in subtle, almost imperceptible ways, aligning himself to be closer to her. If he knows she goes to a particular coffee shop at 8 a.m., suddenly his morning coffee run happens at the same time. If she mentions a favorite park she likes to walk through, that's where he ends up jogging after work. He's not following her. He's reshaping his day to cross paths with her naturally. What's intriguing is that he never directly admits he's doing this. It's not about him openly chasing her or making grand gestures to get her attention. In his mind, it's about positioning himself to be a part of her world, no matter how small or unnoticed that part might be. He starts syncing his life with hers, as if being in the same space, breathing the same air, gives him a quiet sense of satisfaction. His obsession isn't loud. It's in these quiet moves that he's orchestrating behind the scenes, creating the illusion of coincidence. He's not trying to force his way into her life, but he wants to be close enough that, if the opportunity presents itself, she might see him. He's like a satellite orbiting her planet, always revolving around her without demanding to land, and he does it all without her ever realizing that the rhythm of his life is starting to beat in time with hers. It's as if her presence alone rewrites his schedule, and he's more than willing to let it happen, hoping she might notice the synchronicity without even knowing why it exists. Number 3. He knows your boundaries, but dances along the edge. A man obsessed with a Sigma female understands something most people don't. Her boundaries are sacred, and crossing them is a sure way to push her away. But instead of being scared off by her walls, he becomes a master at navigating them. He knows exactly where the line is, and he stays just close enough to keep her attention, never stepping over, but always right there, lingering on the edge. It's a delicate balance, and he's almost like an artist, carefully measuring his movements so that he's never too much, but never too far away either. He's tuned into her signals in a way that most people wouldn't even notice. If she pulls back, he doesn't press forward. If she needs space, he gives it, but not so much that he disappears. It's this subtle game he plays, staying present without overwhelming her. He understands that with a Sigma female, it's not about forcing his way into her life, but about being available when she decides to let him in. His obsession is evident in how closely he studies her cues, always adjusting himself to fit into the space she's willing to offer, no matter how small that space might be. He's drawn to the challenge of it, to the fact that she's not easily impressed, and doesn't let just anyone get close. For him, that makes the game even more irresistible. He respects her independence, but there's also this underlying desire to be the one person she eventually lets her guard down for. So he waits, hovers, always on the verge, never pushing too hard, but always making sure she knows he's there. His obsession lies in this dance, where getting too close could ruin everything, but staying too distant means missing his chance. And so, he moves in perfect sync with her, careful, patient, and utterly captivated. Number 4. Your opinions become his silent mantra. When a man is obsessed with a Sigma female, he finds himself constantly caught in a battle between admiration and frustration. She's unlike anyone he's ever encountered, self-assured, mysterious, and often unpredictable. It's that unpredictability that drives him crazy, but in the best way. One day, she might be warm and open, and the next, completely aloof. Her emotions aren't something he can easily read or predict, and this keeps him on edge, always trying to figure out where he stands. But the more she shifts, the deeper he falls, hooked by the very thing that leaves him feeling unbalanced. He can never quite get a grip on her, and that's part of the obsession. Her moods, her interests, even her presence, none of it follows a clear pattern. She's like a puzzle he can't solve, and it gnaws at him, makes him want to know more, to dive deeper. But instead of scaring him off, her complexity pulls him in even tighter. He's fascinated by her ability to keep him guessing, by how she manages to stay just out of reach no matter how close he gets. It's the thrill of the unknown, the way she keeps him constantly searching for clues, that fuels his obsession. What he doesn't realize is that this roller coaster she puts him on is intentional. Sigma females never let anyone get too comfortable. They thrive on keeping their distance, and she knows that her unpredictability is part of what keeps him coming back. For him, it's maddening, but also addictive. Every time he thinks he's figured her out, she shifts again, and he's left chasing after her, more intrigued than ever. And that's where the obsession truly lies, in the constant state of anticipation she leaves him in, always waiting for her next move, never quite sure what it will be. Number 5. He creates opportunities for you to need him. A man obsessed with a Sigma female becomes incredibly protective of her, even when she doesn't need or ask for it. He knows she's fully capable of handling herself. She's independent, strong, and doesn't rely on anyone to take care of her. But that doesn't stop him from feeling this intense need to shield her from the world. It's almost primal. Whether it's standing up for her in a conversation or simply keeping an eye on who's around her in social settings, he's always on high alert, ready to step in at a moment's notice. The irony is that she doesn't need saving, far from it. She's someone who thrives on being in control of her own life, but that doesn't stop him from wanting to be her silent guardian. He'll never overstep, never interfere in a way that makes her feel suffocated, but he's always watching, always prepared to protect her in ways that she may never even notice. This isn't about being overbearing, it's about him feeling connected to her in such a deep way that he wants to be her unseen support system. It's subtle, too. He won't throw himself in front of danger dramatically, but he'll make sure her surroundings are secure, that no one is taking advantage of her or underestimating her. He's like a shadow, always there in the background, quietly ensuring that nothing gets too close to hurting her. The obsession comes from a place of admiration, mixed with that instinctive drive to keep her safe, even if she never asks for it or even acknowledges it. And while she might not show that she notices, on some level she knows he's there keeping watch. That's the push and pull of it, her independence versus his unspoken need to protect her from everything, even from a distance. Number 6. He memorizes the little things you forgot you mentioned. When a man is obsessed with a Sigma female, he becomes obsessed with understanding her mind, her thoughts, her motivations, the way she sees the world. It's not just physical attraction, it's her intellect, her depth, that has him captivated. He'll spend hours replaying their conversations, dissecting every word she says, trying to figure out what's going on beneath the surface. It's not enough to know what she does. He wants to know she does it, what drives her, what she's thinking when she sits quietly, lost in her own world. He's drawn to her complexity, to the layers she keeps hidden from everyone else. The way she can be fully present but still seem miles away fascinates him, and he's constantly trying to decode her. The more mysterious she is, the more he's hooked. He'll look for any clue, how she reacts to certain topics, what makes her eyes light up, what triggers her rare moments of vulnerability. Her mind becomes a puzzle he's desperate to solve, and this obsession isn't just about figuring her out, it's about the thrill of the chase, the endless intrigue she offers. He realizes that she's not the type to easily let people in, and that only deepens his obsession. He craves being the one who finally cracks the code, the one she lets past her carefully constructed walls. He'll read between the lines, overanalyze her every move, searching for that one key that unlocks her inner world. And the more elusive she is, the more he becomes consumed by the need to understand her on a deeper level than anyone else ever has. It's not just that he wants to know her. He wants to be the one person who truly gets her, who sees the parts of her that remain hidden from everyone else. And the more she keeps those parts tucked away, the more his obsession grows, turning into this quiet, unrelenting drive to uncover the full mystery of who she is. Number 7. He recreates your energy in his space. When a man is obsessed with a Sigma female, he becomes hyper-aware of her approval, even if she rarely gives it. Unlike others, she doesn't throw around compliments or indulge in unnecessary flattery. She holds back, only acknowledging things that truly impress her. This creates an almost addictive chase for him. He craves her recognition, her nod of approval, but it's something she gives sparingly. He finds himself going out of his way to win that rare moment when she acknowledges him. Whether it's through his accomplishments, his insights, or his actions, he's constantly striving to earn her subtle approval. What makes it even more powerful is that her validation feels different from anyone else's. It's not shallow or given out of politeness. When she recognizes something in him, it feels like he's unlocked a level of respect that few ever reach with her. But it's not just about impressing her. It's about being seen by her. Sigma females don't offer their attention lightly, and when she finally acknowledges him, it feels deeply significant, almost like a victory. That one approving glance, that brief comment, acknowledging something she respects in him, it's like a drug to him. And because she's so selective, every small bit of validation feels monumental. It keeps him coming back, striving to hit that high again, working even harder for those rare moments when he knows she truly sees him. This dynamic is what fuels his obsession. The more she withholds, the more he chases. Her approval becomes his personal goal, and because she doesn't give it easily, it remains tantalizingly out of reach. He'll push himself, strive to be more, just to catch her attention for those fleeting moments of recognition. In her world, it's not about pleasing her. It's about earning her respect, and once he's gotten a taste of it, he can't stop chasing after more. Number 8. He defends you in conversations you're not even part of. When a man is obsessed with a Sigma female, he begins to reshape his conversations, stories, and even his opinions to align with her interests and values. It's not just about trying to impress her, it's a deeper, almost unconscious drive to merge his identity with hers. He picks up on the things she's passionate about, be it a specific cause, a hobby, or a way of thinking, and starts to echo those sentiments in his own life. He might suddenly take an interest in a subject she cares about or modify his views to match hers, not out of deceit, but out of a genuine desire to connect on a deeper level. It's as if he's trying to create a mirror image of her interests in his own life. He'll immerse himself in the same books, watch the same documentaries, or advocate for the same causes she does. He's doing this not just to impress her, but to forge a stronger bond, to show that he's aligned with her in ways that matter to her. The obsession here is evident in how his actions start to reflect her world. He's not just adopting her interests, he's making them his own, blending his life seamlessly with hers. What's fascinating is that this alignment goes beyond surface-level imitation. He's actively seeking ways to integrate her passions into his own daily routine, hoping it will bridge the gap between them. He might attend events she enjoys, engage in conversations she finds stimulating, or even adjust his lifestyle to better reflect her values. For him, it's a way of proving that he's not just interested in her, but deeply connected to the things that define her. This drive to mirror her interests is both subtle and intense. It's a reflection of his obsession, manifesting in a realignment of his life around her world. He's drawn to her so strongly that he wants to become a part of her narrative, and this transformation is his way of demonstrating how deeply he's invested in her. It's a compelling testament to how far he's willing to go to be seen as a perfect match for her, aligning his identity with the woman who has captivated his heart. Number 9. His body language mirrors yours without him realizing it. When a man is obsessed with a Sigma female, he develops an almost instinctive need to protect her from negative energies and toxic people in her life. He becomes hyper-aware of who or what might disturb her peace, often stepping in subtly to shield her from these disturbances. It's not that she can't handle herself. She can and does with grace and strength. But he feels this deep-seated urge to ensure her environment remains as positive and supportive as possible. He'll quietly intervene in conversations or situations that seem to drain her energy or challenge her sense of well-being. If someone crosses a line or brings unnecessary drama into her life, he's there, often without her knowing, to smooth things over or subtly redirect the situation. His protection doesn't come with grand gestures or overt actions. It's more about the small, unseen ways he tries to safeguard her emotional space. This instinct isn't about being controlling or overbearing. Instead, it's a manifestation of his obsession with her well-being. He's constantly on the lookout for anything that might upset her balance, and his actions are driven by a desire to make her life as serene and fulfilling as possible. He takes note of who makes her smile and who brings her stress, working behind the scenes to ensure the former outweighs the latter. What's compelling about this obsession is the way it blends into the fabric of his daily life. He's always alert, always thinking ahead about how to keep her protected from anything that might disrupt her harmony. It's not a conscious effort to be a savior, but an almost instinctual reaction to the thought of her facing discomfort or negativity. For him, keeping her world as harmonious as possible is a way of showing his devotion and proving that he's deeply invested in her happiness. Number 10. He seeks out your approval in the subtlest ways. When a man is obsessed with a Sigma female, he becomes intensely attuned to the smallest details of her life, almost to the point of being a silent observer. He remembers the little things, her favorite coffee order, the exact way she likes her space arranged, or the specific moments that make her smile. His obsession manifests in a meticulous attention to these details, driven by an almost compulsive need to make her life as comfortable and delightful as possible, even if she never asks for it. This means he'll quietly adapt his actions and decisions based on what he knows she likes or dislikes. If he knows she's had a rough week, he might show up with a thoughtful gesture, maybe the exact book she mentioned in passing or a playlist of songs she loves. He notices patterns in her behavior and preferences, and his obsession drives him to align his own actions with these observations. The most intriguing part is how this plays out in their interactions. He might subtly steer conversations towards topics he knows she's passionate about, or he might avoid subjects that he's learned she finds uncomfortable. His attentiveness can be so precise that it borders on uncanny, making her feel like he's almost reading her mind. While this level of detail might seem overwhelming to some, for him, it's a way of proving his commitment and admiration. He's not just interested in the big moments. He's invested in the minutiae of her daily existence. This obsessive attention to detail is his way of showing that he's deeply engaged with every aspect of her life, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. It's a constant, silent affirmation of his obsession, a testament to how deeply he's tuned into her world and how far he's willing to go to make sure she feels understood and valued. If you enjoyed exploring the world of Sigma females and their intriguing dynamics, hit subscribe to stay updated on more fascinating insights. Join us for more compelling content and never miss out on the next revelation. Thanks, damsels, for tuning in. See you in the next vid. Bye and stay blessed.